This is going to be a conversation about how to take some basic things and make one or two different things out of them and stretch them, and how to talk to your kids about that stretch. So, and Justice here is 8, and he's my son, and he's going to tell us what all this food is first. Okay.
So first we have diced tomatoes, baking soda, marinara sauce, and baking powder, mac and cheese, flour, herbal tea, cranberries, rice, beans, dark chocolate, more rice, beans, oatmeal, and pasta.
So let's start with the basics. So beans and rice. So beans, you just cook them however you are the fan of cooking them. And usually what I do is I divide them out. After a bag of beans will go pretty far. On the bag, it says it serves about 10, and that's pretty accurate. Beans fill you up pretty quickly, and you don't need to eat a ton of them. And if you put it with rice, that even doubles the meal. I freeze 1 container of beans, so I have those for later. And then I'll usually take the beans and then repurpose them in a different dish. That's like really getting, probably at least for 4 people, you could probably get almost 3 meals out of beans if you really stretch it out and you do it right. So it's complicated, it's hard, it's not the easiest thing to do. And it requires, when we're at the dinner table, what do I say when you're eating and you ask for more? What does mommy say? Finish what you have in your bowl first. What else do I ask you to do to drink what?
The thing I have to drink.
Yeah, drink the water, drink a glass of water, because sometimes I think that we just eat because we know that there's more food there and we're going to eat it. That's another thing when you're talking about beans, which we seem to be able to get, is taking beans and then mixing some tomatoes with it and making a quick chili and just throwing some spices and herbs in there, and that'll like change the beans. Somebody's like, okay, one night we'll have chili beans, then we'll have plain beans, then we'll have this flavor bean, then we'll have bean dip. I don't know. You just go crazy with beans. If you have pasta and let's just say a can of tomato sauce. So what I usually do is, if you have an olive oil, and maybe some type of cheese, it doesn't matter, but you can make 2 distinctive meals out of this. You can have your basic pasta, boil it up, boil the whole bag. I usually boil the whole bag of everything because I like to have things pre-made so I don't have to do it every single time. I'll usually add a bit of olive oil into the sauce, which thins it out a bit, but it gives it a rich taste so you don't miss that there's not a ton of sauce. And then you have the same story with the pasta. This is 8 servings in this bag. That's a lot of pasta for 1 bag, honestly. And then you take the other pasta that's left over and you put it in the refrigerator. You put your leftover sauce in the refrigerator. The next day, if you want to have it again, what I say is you take the pasta and then you bake it. You put it in a pan, maybe with some veggies, maybe with some cheese, and then you put some sauce over that, and then you have a pasta bake. So it's having 2 different meals in 1 bag of pasta and 1 bag of pasta sauce. And that should feed about 4 people twice. You can do that with pasta bakes and a regular pasta meal. For a treat, it's nice to have like a variety of teas. And then you can like literally make tea. What's your favorite one, Justice? Blueberry. So we'll make the blueberry tea, and then I'll usually add some lemon to it, a little bit of honey. I'll put it in a container, and then we'll ice it. It's like actually a fun drink for kids. Can add some floating blueberries to it, a little bit of lemon if you have that, orange slices. You can put pretty much anything in it you want and float it around in there. So now we're going to talk about oatmeal. So oatmeal, old-fashioned oats, they're kind of boring, but we have really mastered the creativeness of oatmeal in our house. So you want to tell us about the homemade oatmeal mommy makes? What's in it?
Blueberries, maybe even.
So I'll make some stovetop oatmeal, and I usually make enough for at least 2 mornings, sometimes 3, because oatmeal will keep in the refrigerator also. So it's a really fast thing to have. If you make it fresh 1 morning for breakfast, the next morning you can reheat it. And then you can add a teaspoon of peanut butter in it, or a tablespoon of peanut butter, or some type of nut butter. You can add some nuts into it if you want to. You can sprinkle some cinnamon in it. You can put some cocoa powder in it, a tiny bit of honey, a little bit of sugar, some brown sugar. You don't have to go crazy on the sweeteners. The other thing you can do with oatmeal is you can also toast it. You can toast it in the oven with a little tiny bit of oil and some sugar, maybe a nut or 2 or a raisin or 2. And you can have it as a topping for just yogurt. So then the third thing you can do with oatmeal that is to make oatmeal cookies. And you can usually take oatmeal cookies and whatever recipe you have. Now, we do make a 3-ingredient cookie that you cannot alter the 3 ingredients, because if you do, it doesn't work. But it's pretty basic. We use peanut butter, 1 cup of peanut butter, 1 cup of granulated sugar, and 1 egg. And like that's it. And you just mix it up and you bake it at 350 and they make these little peanut butter cookies. I personally will add dark chocolate to it. But the thing about these cookies that's so amazing, it makes enough for at least 4 people to have 2 or 3 cookies. I think it's really good to have oatmeal. It's really hearty. It fills people up. It lasts for a long time. It doesn't go bad. So it's a good thing to keep on hand in this time. So this is just a box of mac and cheese, which is very inexpensive and very small. And my 2 children can devour one whole box completely by themselves. So I get that this is not that much food. It is inexpensive though. So, but what we still do to stretch mac and cheese out is we do 2 things. Fine, whenever I serve mac and cheese, I always try to serve like something on the side that's like fresh. Whatever I have, if it's just cucumbers, cut them up, serve it with it. What I also do is keep frozen vegetables in the freezer and I add it to the mac and cheese.
I add a can of tuna to it in
Oh,
addition to
yeah.
the vegetables.
That's a good, yeah, I can see that because that's a quick, easy, like tuna casserole, basically. Baking stuff is hard to find these days. I've been seeing that there's more baking powder and more baking soda around lately. So that's good news. These are really inexpensive. They're usually an ingredient in most baked goods. And then flour is really hard to find. And then we came across these dried baking cranberries. There's some quick breads that you can make with these ingredients and you don't need to have yeast. I would go to my phone and I would Google things with like 4 ingredient, breads, quick breads, things that are very, very short that require very few ingredients. You're going to get the same thrill out of it when you eat it as if you're making something that has all of these ingredients. But laundry detergent is another thing that you do not need to use the required amount on the thing. You do not need to fill it up. You can cut laundry detergent in half easily. You can put water with it. You can add a little baking soda and some water together and mix it with some of your laundry detergent. You can make your own concoction. You can easily double the amount of load you get from one container of laundry detergent. So that's my sort of sideline pro tip for stretching things. The same with soap. If you're the kind of person that uses liquid soap with your kids, which I do because bar soap, we all know, just disintegrates in the bottom of a shower when you have kids and it's not useful. But I will take the liquid soap and I will pour some of it in a jar and then I will add water, shake it up, and they can definitely use that soap and it saves on soap. So those are my things for stretching, some other basic household ideas. I haven't figured out how to stretch toilet paper just yet, but if I get to that point,